If you're hiring a media buyer right now, or you're taking a look at your agency's scope of work, there's one fundamental truth you need to pay attention to in 2026. Media buying itself isn't dead, but the core levers that drive growth have completely changed. Most brands are still hiring like it's 2019, and they're trying to find someone who's going to pull those technical levers like audience targeting and manual placements. But right now in 2025, and as we move into 2026, the platform has completely automated that away. The media buyer that you're actually looking for is someone that realizes that media buying is the least important part of the job. Today in this video, I'm going to show you the exact difference between an old school media buyer and a modern day growth strategist. And I'm also going to show you the 4 specific areas that are driving profit for brands right now. Let's take a look at the evolution of the role, because it has changed significantly. Feel free to screenshot this because it's very helpful. In 2019, the value was here on the left hand side. A big one back then was audience targeting, where we had to find those customers ourselves manually. And we also had complex structures in which we had to be careful how we structured our campaigns to make sure that we were minimizing waste and optimizing our ads as efficiently as possible. We'd also be A/B testing different interest audiences, trying to outsmart the algorithm and find those pockets of people that are going to convert. And finally, we had manual placements, where we were trying to dictate where it was that Meta served our ads. On this left hand side, this is where the heavy lifting was done, and it could take hours. But today, the algorithms do that far better than we can, and so the value has moved over here. So what do we have on this right hand side for 2026? We have creative strategy, where we're dictating the hooks and really paying attention to the ads as opposed to the niche little settings in Facebook ads. And we have customer research as well, which is not just understanding who your customers are, but why it is that they're going to convert. We have funnel optimization, which is understanding that complete journey right from the first customer impression right through to when they check out. And this one, which is very important, is the why. Understanding why it is that a creative converts. If you don't understand why it is an ad converts, you're never going to be able to take that winning angle and create new ads to scale up your business. You're going to be stuck. So as I said, to summarize, if your team is over on this left-hand side, they're doing the busy work, which is taking a lot of time, but the real profit is over here on the right. If we aren't focusing on bidding strategies, what is it we should be looking at? In a public nectar, we focus on 4 specific things that actually drive profitable growth for brands right now. Number 1 is a simplified account structure. I covered a lot about this in my previous video, but to put it simply, we need consolidation. We don't need 15 plus campaigns. We just need a simple structure that allows the algorithm to stabilize and exit the learning phase. We get all the technical stuff out the way right in the beginning so that Meta can do its thing. Now, going back to my notes here, number 2 is the system that we implement. You need a process for testing diverse creative in a feedback loop. Most agencies will launch an ad and analyze, but they miss out the rest of the process. A modern media buyer will need to launch ads and then take that data and analyze it and say, okay, this hook worked, this hook didn't. And they then give that feedback into a brief for a creator to work from for the next batch. If there is no feedback loop going on with your creative process, you are literally gambling your money away. There is no structured process or learnings to be taken from the ads that you're running. Looking at the diagram, we want them to be launching ads, then reviewing how did it perform, how can we improve, and that's the analysis phase. And then instead of stopping here, we want to then be taking the analysis, briefing it in to our creator so they can come up with more ads, they can produce new content, and we can launch again and carry on learning. And that is how the feedback loop works. And this diagram sums it up perfectly. We launch ads, we analyze how they did, we brief in what worked and what didn't, we produce more content, and we launch again. And every time we repeat this loop, the ads will continue getting better and better, as will your performance. And number 3 is a key trust lever that we don't really see anyone talking about, and that's influencer whitelisting. This is where we run ads through a creator's page or handle as opposed to the brand's own. Now, why do we do this? It's simple psychology. Right now, the more content that people are consuming, they're more aware of ads. Your typical ads just end up getting ignored, whereas people trust people. So if we run an ad through a creator's page, they're much more likely to believe it and trust it. Your media buyer needs to know how to set up these partnerships, as it's a massive lever for brands brands right now. And finally, number 4 is knowing your numbers. And I don't just mean, hey, I think I need to hit a 3 ROAS in platform. It's actually knowing the real numbers that your business needs to be achieving and how that translates into what you're targeting on ads. An old school media buyer would focus on that Facebook ROAS and they wouldn't pay attention to the bigger picture. At Public Nectar, our growth strategists pay attention to the metrics that matter. And that's why we have this KPI calculator that everyone on our team uses, and it helps us to understand all the fundamentals of your business. We can plug in all these inputs here on the left-hand side, including things like your cost of goods and your cost of shipping, and see how that dictates your AOV and your gross margin. We take into consideration your refunds, and we can see how that's dictating your margins as we go through. If your returns are too high, then it's something that we can address with you. We even consider your fixed business costs and how those are proportionate to the size of your business. Now, we know that this varies from business to business, but it's good to have that understanding and a rough target of where you should be at. After our team complete this for your business, it's literally impossible not to know what the bottleneck is with your brand. At the end of the day, we know that if profit isn't showing up in your bank account after everything, there is no point. After all that, I want to be clear. Media buying is not dead, it's just tertiary. The platform can automate targeting, but it cannot automate empathy, and it cannot automate understanding your customer and the reasons they buy. So in this day, when you're looking at who it is that you want to be working on your advertising, you need someone that thinks in this priority order. Number 1, creative strategist. They understand that the ad is what does the targeting, and so they brief content accordingly. And number 2, they are a customer researcher. They spend time looking at ad comments, searching through your Trustpilot reviews, and understanding the pain points that people are having with your brand or your competitors. These are where you're going to find those winning angles for your future ads. And as I've mentioned before, they are a media buyer at the very end. They still need to know how the platform works and when it is that you should be cutting an ad, but this is the last step, not the first. When you look at your ad account, if you see a complex web of exclusions and interest stacks, but you don't have a system in place for creative, you've got the hierarchy completely backwards. And shifting this mindset is one of the hardest parts of scaling throughout the end of 2025 and into 2026. If you want to know exactly where your account stands and if you're pulling the right levers, we can help you. Right now at Public Nectar, we're giving away completely free growth audits from our team of experts who are the ones that are driving growth for brands day in, day out. We don't just look at niche little settings, we look at everything in the account and we give you brutal feedback into what it is that's going to take your account from where it is now to the next level. These audits are incredibly valuable. You can take the insights and run, or you can choose to work with us. It's completely up to you, but either way, it is a win-win for you. You can grab yours down in the link in the description. And the final note from me for this video, stop hiring like it's 2019 and start hiring like it's 2026.